Welcome to the very first performance ever of the very first ever Readers Theater at the Huntley Library. Give these guys a hand. They've been practicing really hard for the last hour and they're ready to do their performance for you. As you know, Readers Theater is similar to a play, but it's done with literally reading the script from their hands. So that's what they're going to be doing today. There's less acting and more reading. And I think you'll be happy with what they've been able to do in just an hour. I'd like to introduce the players. Right now we have narrator 1. Say your name.
Allie.
Narrator 2.
Jonathan.
Narrator 3.
Anjali.
Narrator 4.
Daniel.
Narrator 5.
Callie.
And we have Mr. Brunner,
Daryl.
Percy Jackson,
Hannah.
Nancy Bobofit,
Courtney.
Mrs. Dodds.
Amanda.
She's an algebra teacher, though, so she has the glasses. and our friend Grover at the end. Miguel, great. So I will just go ahead and let them go ahead and start. They have their scripts and they're ready to go. Thanks for coming.
This scene from Rick Riordan's The Lightning Thief is taken from Chapter 1. I accidentally vaporized my pre-algebra teacher. Percy Jackson is a 12-year-old boarding school at Yancey Academy, private school for troubled kids in upstate New York.
My name is Percy Jackson. Am I a troubled kid? Yeah, you could say that. I could start at any point in my short, miserable life to prove it. But things really started going bad last May when our 6th grade class took a field trip to Manhattan.
Percy's class is heading to the Metropolitan Museum of Art to look at the ancient Greek and Roman collection. There are 2 teachers on the field trip. Mr. Brunner, the Latin teacher, is leading the trip. He's in a motorized wheelchair with thinning hair, a scruffy beard, and an awesome collection of Roman armor and weapons.
Mr. Brunner expects me to be as good as everybody else, despite the fact that I have dyslexia and attention deficit disorder. And I have never made above a C- in my life. No, he doesn't expect me to be as good as everybody. He expects me to be better.
The other teacher's chaperone is Mrs. Dodds. She is a little math teacher from Georgia who always wears a black leather jacket even though she is 50 years old. Mrs. Dodds came to Yancey halfway through the school year when the last math teacher had a nervous breakdown.
From our first day, Mrs. Dodds would point her crooked finger at me and say, "Now, honey," real sweet, and I knew I was going to get after-school detention for a month.
Among the 28 students on the field trip are Nancy Bobofit, a freckly, red-headed bully, Percy Jackson's best friend, Grover Underwood, a scrawny kid with an antsy and the start of a wispy beard on his chin.
The class is gathered on the front steps of the museum eating lunch. Nancy Bobofit dumps her half-eaten lunch in Grover's lap.
Oops. I don't remember touching her, but the next thing I know, Nancy is sitting on her butt in the fountain screaming, "Percy pushed me!"
Mrs. Dodds materializes next to them.
Some of the kids are whispering.
Did you see?
The water?
Like it grabbed her. I don't know what you're talking about.
As soon as Mrs. Dodds is sure Nancy is okay, Mrs. Dodds turns on Percy.
Now, honey, I know a month of erasing workbooks. Come with me.
Wait, it was me. I pushed her.
I don't think so, Mr. Underwood.
Well,
You will stay here. It's okay, ma'am. Thanks for trying. Honey, now.
Percy follows her deeper into the museum. When he finally catches up to her, they're back in the Greek and Roman section.
Except for them, the gallery is empty.
You've been giving us problems, honey. Yes, ma'am. Do you really think you would get away with it? I'll try harder, ma'am.
Thunder shakes the building.
We are not fools, Percy Jackson. It was only a matter of time before we found you out. Confess and you will suffer less pain. Well, ma'am, I don't. Your time is up.
then the weirdest thing happened. Her eyes began to glow like barbecue coals. Her fingers stretched into talons. Her jacket melted to a large leathery wings, She isn't human. She's a shriveled hag with bat wings and claws and a mouth full of yellow fangs.
Then things get even stranger. Mr. Burner, who'd been out in front of the museum a minute before, he wheels in his chair into the doorway of the gallery, holding a pen in his hand. Tossing it to Percy, he shouts,
What's all, Percy? Mrs. Dodds lunges at Percy.
Percy snatches the ballpoint pen out of the air. When it hits his hand, it isn't a pen anymore. It is a sword. Mr. Burner's bronze sword, which he always uses on tournament day.
Mrs. Dodds spins towards Percy, snarling.
Die, honey!
She flies straight at Percy. He swings the sword.
The metal blade hits her shoulder and passes clean through her body as if she was made of water.
Hiss. Mrs. Dodds is a sandcastle in a power fan. She explodes into yellow powder, vaporizing on the spot, leaving nothing but the smell of sulfur and a dying screech and a chill of evil in the air.
I am alone. There's a ballpoint pen in my hand. Mr. Brunner isn't there. Nobody is there but me. My hands are still trembling. Had I imagined the whole thing? I go back outside. Grover is sitting by the fountain with Nancy Bubblehead, still soaked from her swim in the fountain. I hope Mrs. Kerr whipped your butt. Who? Our teacher, duh. We have no teacher named Mrs. Kerr. What are you talking about? Grover, where is Mrs. Dodds? Who? Not Bunny Man, this is serious. Boom.
Thunder booms overhead.
Mr. Jackson, that would be my pen. Please bring your own writing utensil in the future.
Sir, where is Mrs. Dodds? The other chaperone. Mrs. Dodds, the pre-algebra teacher?
Percy, there is no Mrs. Dodds on this trip. As far as I know, there's never been a Mrs. Dodds at Yancey Academy. Are you feeling all right?
Good job, guys. And that is it for our performance. Thanks everybody for coming. We do hope to have, actually we're planning another Readers Theater in June and July and a special presentation in August at our summer reading finale. So we hope that the guys and girls will all sign up again and participate next time. So watch in the newsletter for the dates for that, okay? Thanks everybody, good job.